businesses. That's really interesting to observe, you know.
Thank you for your cooperation. Where are you from?
We're from Toronto, Canada.
Canada. What brings you to Japan?
Well, this is actually our honeymoon.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's a
Wow.
little delayed. We were supposed to be here in May 2020, but obviously COVID, we didn't come. So now we're here.
I see, finally. So why did you choose to come to Japan for honeymoon?
Well, I think we've always been, like, we love to travel all over, and we love the food idea. I wanted to try a bunch of it, and then also to see a little bit more of the culture, and yeah.
Thank you for coming to Japan.
Thank you for having us. It's been really enjoyable so far.
How long have you been in Japan?
Just 2 days.
2 days.
Yes, so we're going to be here in Tokyo for a little bit, and then we're going to go to Kyoto and then Hakone.
Nice.
Yeah, we're only here for a little over a week, so we have to kind of stuff everything into a few days. Yeah.
Is it hard to choose like what you do and where you go, right?
Yes. Very much so.
There's
many
so many
options.
places to see,
Yeah,
right?
right.
We're now thinking about our trip back the second time. What other things we want to see?
Yeah. I also typically where we travel, everything's very centralized, so all the tourists kind of go to this area because that's what you go and see. Where in Japan, everything's, well, in Tokyo at least, everything's much more spread out.
Yeah, right.
So you can find amazing little pockets all over the city so far, and all the food is delicious. Everything is great. So it's not like everything's concentrated with tourists. More or less, we're trying to speak the language, but everyone, you know, they know English, which makes it easier for us. That we were a little bit worried about that when we were first coming into Tokyo, not knowing if people spoke English, but it is nice to have a little bit of that barrier broken for us.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you have any opportunities to speak to Japanese?
We were trying
Trying
last
to,
week.
yeah. Trying
nice.
to as much as we can. We're
Yeah.
learning.
As much as possible. But people usually greet us with hello. So, you know, rather than speaking the language to us, they just default to English speaking. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with like Japanese culture or Japanese stuff?
We really try to do a lot of research coming in as much as possible.
And then just like going to the shrines and reading the monuments and reading what we're around. I think we're learning a lot as we go, and when we have to take a break from walking around, we're on our phones looking up things and like that. So we're learning a lot, which is why we like to travel here.
Yeah.
Nice.
And you can see the culture in a lot of like just small little nuances, which if I don't understand it or we don't know what's going on, we'll always look it up to get a little bit more insight as to why, because everything is so deep and meaningful here.
Right,
You know,
right.
there's usually something maybe religious or like, more cultural based. Yeah.
Yeah, they have many meanings or something. Yeah, deeply.
Which if you don't really go that layer deeper, you may not always understand why or the reason, but it's so cool just looking it up, and there's always something a little bit deeper that we really like learning about.
So did you find something differences between Canada and Japan?
Everything. Lots of differences, yeah, but that's why we like to travel, to see the differences and to appreciate it, and then seeing some of the similarities of like the way people, the jobs, the way they work, how they eat, and some of that is very interesting to see how far it took us to get here, but seeing some of the similarities for sure.
Yeah, I think we're from Canada, which is a very diverse and multicultural space, which is amazing.
Yeah.
But there's not as much the same driving ideas. Where here, it's, you know, a lot of people have the same, not core values, but the culture is so deeply embedded in everything that they're doing, and that's not as common in Canada.
We don't have as much history in Canada.
Yeah.
We're a younger country, so there's not as much history and age to go on.
Right, and people are from all over the world, and they come into Toronto, and it's more of that. It's amazing to see all the different cultures, but it is much more divided in that way. But we have food from all over the world. It's not specialized necessarily in anything.
I see. Yeah. Even for me, like Japanese, I was born and raised in Japan, so totally Japanese, but I don't even understand what the Japanese history is or something like that. So people who are not familiar with Japanese culture or not from Japan, it's much harder to understand like what Japanese culture is or something like.
For sure.
Yeah.
We're kind of just like putting ideas that we've been, or like trends that we've talked about together, but it's so much deeper. Like, you know, when you're just reading this small little sign, you're getting a piece of it, but you really are only getting a very, very small idea of the understanding.
As you said, like Canada, not only Canada, but also some countries is kind of young. So when people come to Japan, they can understand and try to learn like history, country's history.
Yeah.
So it's maybe interesting stuff.
Oh, very.
I think that's one of the reasons we like to travel and see different countries is to hear about the history and see the differences and learn a little bit. You're never going to learn everything, but we take a little bit from this part of Tokyo. Then we're going to go to Kyoto. We want to learn a little bit about Kyoto history. So,
you know, generational ideas that get passed from family members, I would say more so than in like a westernized culture that's a lot more for themselves. You know, there's not the same idea of like family honor that you're trying to pass for generationally. And that's really interesting to observe. You know, maybe I don't know if it's as much in Tokyo, but you know, a lot of like family businesses that get passed from generation to generation. You wouldn't really see something like that in not as commonly in a place like Toronto or even Canada.
I see.
You know, people are more looking to like fill their own happiness rather than bringing on the idea of like a family business for generations. It's not very common.
Yeah, there are so many places like not only restaurant but also like Japanese sweets like anko, red paste beans place or something like that is generations to generations to run the shop.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you recommend about Japan to your family or friends, what would you say?
I would definitely recommend to come. You could definitely come, and it's a long flight to get here, but it's definitely worth it. And there's so much to see and so much to do that sometimes it's nice to just come and kind of get lost and go and explore and see different things. So we're writing a lot of things down of places that we like and restaurants and things like that to give advice to other people that if they want to come. But I think the main one would be just come to Japan and see it and enjoy it.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, try go out of your comfort zone. This is a place where it's definitely safe to do that. People aren't being judgmental if I've never tried some of the food and I want to go and try that. So just, you know, go outside of your comfort zone and let that explore. Exactly. We didn't even, we kind of just on our maps walking around and following, you know, just how we feel, and it's been amazing so far, and stumbled upon, you know, this park here and some amazing food already, so we're excited to keep letting that happen.
I think sometimes in North America you hear about Tokyo as a big city and it's only buildings and only city.
Yeah,
you come
right.
here, there's a lot of nature and spaces to like feel relaxed, which is really nice because we didn't expect that as much.
Yeah, I would say take time to carve out and to go check out the shrines, even if you don't really know why you're going. It's worth the beauty behind it for sure.
Right. Yeah, it's so contrast between like a retail space and an architecture like big buildings in Tokyo especially.
For sure. This is by far the most photos I've ever taken of trees and greenery, or like and flowers and like architectural things. And we've done a lot of travel, and I would say my phone in 2 days is already at like 500 photos.
Right. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your cooperation. Where are you from?
Switzerland.
Switzerland. Is it the first time to come to Japan?
First time in Japan, yeah.
Oh, welcome to Japan.
Yeah, thank you very much.
What brings you to Japan?
So I was doing a trip in China actually, and before moving back to Europe, I wanted to do an extra trip here. So I took a flight and I will be here for 10 days.
I see.
That's it.
How many countries in Asia have you been to?
Actually, that's the third one. I've been to South Korea, China, and here in Japan.
Do you find anything different?
Yeah, a lot of difference actually. It surprised me because at first I didn't expect that much. But for example, I would say South Korea is maybe more similar to Japan than China would be. Or just in the shops, welcoming you, like everyone would be thanking you for everything, very grateful. In China, it's more, let's say, you're also welcomed, but it's they wouldn't express as much. even the streets, the type of shops, the food also is very very different from each country. So also that's a good experience for me to try all these different things.
Oh, nice.
Very lucky.
Could you explain how different like food in Asia?
So I was in Shanghai, and the food there isn't spicy. So yeah, they wouldn't eat spicy food, but obviously there are many kinds of restaurants with typical food from each province of China also, which are very different. Maybe in Shanghai it's more like dumplings, noodles, Chinese noodles, and also bao. Xiaolongbao, very very tasty. And maybe in South Korea it's much more spicy food.
Yeah, right.
More meat, maybe like barbecues and stuff like that that you wouldn't find in Chinese culture. Yeah, and here I tried today some food at the fish market. A lot of octopus. It's kind of food, so it was really really great.
Did you find something differences between Switzerland and Japan?
Oh, lots of difference, even more. Yeah, it's very, very different. I mean, in Switzerland we don't have as much big cities. We have much more, let's say, nature. So the cities would be smaller. So you also like near to lakes and mountains. Let's say. I mean, it's a bit a cliche, but actually it's true. I would say. And also the country is very small, so you can do like short distances between two cities very easily. Obviously also the food is again very very different. I mean, it's European, and in Switzerland we eat a lot of cheese that you wouldn't do here, what I heard.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
You really had us thinking about what we've already got to experience, so that's amazing.
What is the video
Thank
for?
you.
Is it a YouTube
For
channel?
YouTube, yeah.
Oh, cool. This is definitely a very important thing to have because for us coming here, it was so informative, and we found a couple people that we really like to watch and would do a ton of their videos. And yeah, it's amazing to get to just hear, somebody else's perspective on the tourism side of things. But I also like the local side, but it's very, very helpful for us to have.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Have a great day. Nice meeting you.